Title: Tragedy strikes young lives. 12-year-old's life cut short. 14-year-old arrested. What went wrong in St. Paul? TLDR. In a heartbreaking incident, a 12-year-old boy was fatally shot in St. Paul, with a 14-year-old arrested on suspicion of manslaughter. Initial beliefs were that the younger boy, Marquis Jones, accidentally shot himself. However, police later arrested a teen. The community is mourning, and questions surround the origin of the firearm involved. What could lead to such a devastating event between kids? A community in grief. Saturday morning in St. Paul brought tears and sorrow when a 12-year-old boy, identified as Marquis Jones, was found shot. Initially, loved ones thought it was an accident. Marquis had found a loaded firearm and shot himself. But did he really? By the afternoon, authorities had arrested and booked a 14-year-old boy in connection to the shooting, shocking the community and adding to the complexity of this tragic event. St. Paul's Mayor, Melvin Carter, expressed both grief and anger over the loss of such a young life. There are no words to adequately express how horrifying and infuriating it is that the life of a kind, beloved 12-year-old was stolen by gunfire, he lamented, also hinting at the lingering questions regarding the origin of the firearm. Who left it there, and why? Calls for justice. Family, friends, and community leaders have called for justice, urging whoever owned the firearm to step forward. It belongs to someone else, so therefore this is negligence on their end, exclaimed Nazi Nasir X, a local activist. Is turning oneself in really the right thing to do, or just the beginning of a larger conversation? Marilyn Hill, the boy's great-aunt, said the house where Marquis died was a safe house. Family friend Kania Fryer described Marquis as a sweet, loving little boy, still a baby. But now, he's gone, and the family is left with a gaping hole. How does a community heal from such a loss? What we know and what we don't. Police arrived at the scene at 5 a.m. and found Marquis with a gunshot wound. He was later pronounced dead at Regents Hospital. The investigation is ongoing, and many details are still murky. But the question that haunts everyone: how did a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old become entangled in a scenario involving a loaded firearm? Time for reflection. This devastating event calls for reflection, not only about the situation itself but also about society's role in the lives of young people today. Could this have been prevented? What safeguards failed these children? And who will be the next victim if we don't find answers? In a world where children should be playing, learning, and growing, how did we arrive at a point where they are faced with life and death situations? Could this tragedy be a turning point, or will it be forgotten like many others? Your thoughts? This incident provokes a profound question: what must change in our society to ensure that our children are safe, loved, and guided towards a future that doesn't involve firearms and senseless violence? How can we, as a community and as individuals, take steps to make that future a reality? Disclaimer: the information in this article is based on the facts provided and does not constitute any form of advice or recommendation. The thoughts and opinions expressed are those of Turned Up News and do not reflect any endorsement of views by other parties.